everybody, it's my first makeup tutorial! Yay! So, one of you guys asked me on Facebook a while back if I could do a makeup tutorial for how my Max Cosplay makeup goes on average. I've had a couple of times, well, a number of times, to perfect this look, and it's honestly the outfit that I've worn probably the most in my entire cosplay career. So, having had a little bit of practice, I feel a little bit more comfortable giving you guys kind of a step-by-step process as to how I do it. So I'm going to throw on my wig cap and then we can get started.
For this tutorial, I have already applied my foundation, concealer, and color correcting makeup, as well as put on my very sloppy wig cap. You can use whatever makeup works best for your skin tone for this step. Just make a clean, even base to start your work from. I would also put my wig cap on better for a con, but for this tutorial, this will just have to suffice. Now we are ready to get started. Okay, so the first step is going to be contouring, and I personally like to use Kat Von D's Shade and Light palette, and that also includes her brush for this specific palette. Just a heads up, you guys are going to get to see a lot of my forehead in this clip. So I like to use the two lightest shades because I am an incredibly pale person. So contour your face just like you normally would. I personally like to highlight the top of my forehead, the center of my face and my cheeks, and the center of my chin, which you'll see in a couple minutes. So Max has a very pointy jaw, and I like to highlight my jaw a little bit because my jaw is a little bit rounder than hers is, so I want to make that stand out. So for the highlight, I don't tend to go too heavy. Thankfully, it doesn't require a whole lot of effort because Max is pretty sallow-faced. But then when I start using the shadow parts, I like to make my cheekbones pretty prominent, and I like to bring them down right before my lips because my face is a little bit rounder. Oh, that's another thing. I'm so sorry in advance, but the camera sometimes blows out because I'm just so incredibly white. So apologies in advance. So the contouring step is really kind of up to you. I just fit it to my personal face shape. You just do whatever feels best to you and whatever makes your face look a little more angular. Alright, and we are all set with the contours. Okay, so step number 2 is going to be something that's pretty simple. Oh god, I'm so white. I am so sorry. And that's going to be blush. Now, with Max, you got to be careful not to go too hard on blush. Wow, that is really pale in that light. But I still like to do a little tiny bit of blush right on the apples of my cheeks just to give me a little bit of life. Try not to go too heavy though, because Max is pretty sallow-faced. She doesn't have a whole lot of life. Then I also like to top it off with a little bit of a darker color just dabbed on the tops of my cheeks. Just a little tiny bit. Now after you've blended that all out, it's time for step number 3, which is more highlighting. You can't even see it, but I'm using ColourPop in a shade that I don't remember. I'll try to put it in the description. So, yep, it's super bright. I like to use a little on my finger and rub it on my skin because I am a heathen. So I put that on my forehead and all the places that I want to highlight, like my cheeks, my nose, and my chin. And after you blend that out, you are all set to go. Now we move on to step number 4. So that's going to be the thing your forehead is really for, your brows. Woo! So I like to sculpt my brow a little bit using High Brow by Benefit in Ballet Pink, I believe. So I just put a little under my brow to give myself a little bit more prominence and then blend it with my finger so it blends in. Next is my Anastasia Beverly Hills pencil in Auburn, which matches my regular hair. I like to use the pencil to line up the brows so I don't go too far inward. But really, you can put your brows wherever you want. Just fill them in with the pencil. And Max has a pretty fair shape, so you want to give it a nice arch like you can see me doing right there. She doesn't have very thick brows, so you don't need to go too heavy, but enough that her brows are noticeable. And you do the same thing with the lineup using your nose, and then using the brow pencil on the other side. Watch me go. And when your brows look related, they are all done. Now we move on to step number 5, which is the most important step of all of them, Max's eyes. And that's where all of her personality is. So lots of colors are necessary here. Palettes are your best friend. But for example, I have this little one by Makeup Forever, just a simple red. I like to use that on the end of my finger and dab that at the corners of my eyes and bring it a little bit underneath them too. It helps to make my eyes look a little bit whiter and stand out a little more, and it also kind of adds to the exhausted look that Max has around her eyes. This is an unnecessary step. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I personally like the look it gives. So now we move on to your real best friend, which is the Chocolate Bar palette, particularly this shade here. That's going to be your base shade for Max's sunken in eyes look. So you put a little bit on your finger and put it all around your eyes. Oh geez, I'm so sorry for that blowout. But you put it all over starting near your lash line, build it out to make a nice base, as you'll watch me do here. And you also put it under your eyes as well, because Max has huge bags under her eyes because she doesn't sleep. She's too busy thinking about Chloe, I think. And you do that with the other side as well. Now you're going to move on to this shade here, which is a step down from the other one for your base number 2. You're going to put it on a clean finger, which is what I'm doing here, and you're going to start at the corners of your eyes and build it out just like a standard smoky eye, sticking mostly to the lash line, a little bit in the crease, and also underneath. This is going to build dimension in the eyes and make it look even more sunken in, as well as make the whiteness of your eyes stand out. So now you're going to move on to your third shade for your eyes, which is going to be this one right here, which I really like. It's dark, but it has a bit of a yellow greenish tint to it, which makes your eyes look kind of sickly, which I think really works for Max. Stick to the lash line for this one, don't go too far out. And your base is done. Don't be afraid if it looks a little messy. The messier your makeup is, the better it actually looks for Max. And don't be afraid to go back and build up some more on your base if you need to, just like you can see me do here. And now we move on to the 6th step, I think. And that's going to be the step that's really going to make your eyes pop in all the makeup that you put on, and that is your eyeliner. So I really prefer to use gel liners, but if you have a pencil, I think you can achieve the same effect. I like to use the Kat Von D gel eyeliner in Trooper, but honestly any black gel eyeliner will do. So you first start by building from the outside into the interior. You can do your eyeliner for Max however you want really, but I do not recommend going too heavy because Max doesn't wear makeup. This is mostly to enhance the colors of your eyes and your eyelashes. I also, I went a little white there. I like to put a little on my lower lid, not on my waterline, as you can see me accidentally do here, just to enhance my lower lashes, and a little tiny wing on the side. I do not recommend super big wings for Max because it kind of detracts from her realistic look. Now, if you messed up your eyeliner like I did, you get a chance to save it here with your third base color from the previous step. Put it on a finger or brush or whatever you've got, and you're going to rub it into the eyeliner that you just made, which blurs out the line. This is a great way to cover up your mistakes, also makes your eyes pop, and enhances the color of the mascara that you'll be putting on. And your eyes look all smoky and pretty at the end. Alright, this step is lame, but it has to happen. Number 7 is for your eyelashes. Just stick with mascara, falsies look ridiculous. I don't recommend going thick or clumpy because again, Max doesn't wear makeup, but I do recommend using a waterproof formula if you're like me and think about Pricefield a lot and cry a lot. And now the biggest step is all done! Yay! Okay, step 8 is my least favorite step, but it's gotta happen, and that is the lips. Again, Max does not wear makeup, so this is mostly about neutralizing my own pink color. I use this ELF matte lip color in a neutral beige. Again, I don't do anything glossy. I do not do anything that's going to stand out. It's literally just about removing the color in my lips. We're at the final step, and it is a doozy. It's number 9. Yeah, that's right. So this is the step that's going to tie together all of your hard work, and it is your freckles. Everybody's got their own freckles method, and this is mine. I like to use Copic markers. Now before you go, oh my god, isn't that gonna kill you? Don't worry, I have so much makeup on my face that it doesn't bother me whatsoever. So you take the thin tip, and make sure it's the thin tip, and you're going to gently tap it so you make a bunch of various sized freckles all over the highlights of your face, like your chin, your nose, your cheeks, and your brow. This is only your first layer, so don't go too thick and try not to group them too heavily in one area. You will do more later. At this point, we are going to use some foundation powder to cover up the freckles that we just made to make them look more natural. You're not going to make them go away, you're just going to make them look like they're underneath your skin. You don't need to go too heavy, and don't mess up your contour either. Now, following the same ideas as before, go back, make another layer with the same color. So once you've got a fairly nice spread, you can move on to your next marker, which is your darker color. So you do have to be a little more careful with this one, but you're going to use the thin tip, as you did before, gently tap it and make clusters amongst the other freckles that are already on your face. Be careful not to go too thick or too heavy, because that will ruin the natural look of the freckles. I would say err on the side of caution, try to spread them out, don't be too thick in one place, and be very careful. Once that's all done, you can go back and cover it up with some more foundation powder, particularly for the dark ones, because they will need to be muted a little bit to blend into the freckles that you already have. Now, at this point, the amount of freckles that you want is totally at your discretion. I like to put them on the apples of my cheeks and the bridge of my nose and blend them out to the edges of my face. If I mess up, I can always cover it with more foundation powder. I would just say be careful not to concentrate them too much in one place, or they won't look natural. However, you can mix and match the steps as much as you like to achieve the desired effect, because once you're done, you are ready to be the one, the only hipster extraordinaire, Max Caulfield.
So here's my Max face. So as I said in the audio on the video, you can switch up as many of these steps as you like. Like, for example, I think I went a little overboard with the freckles today. Just happens, but thankfully, because Max is a very real character and very messy, if you mess it up, it's super duper easy to get it kind of reined back in again. So, if you'll excuse me, I will be right back. So here it is, in its full glory. So, that's pretty much it. Everything else in the Max cosplay was pretty much made by me, including the wig and all the bits. If y'all are interested in any tutorials for that, like the wig or the bag, anything like that, hit me up. I'll try not to make it take as long as this one did. So yeah, if y'all want to do your own Max face, that's how I do it. So go out and do it. Ready for the mosh pit, shaka bra. Wow.